How to get so rich that you question the meaning of making money. When it comes to making money, a lot of people think that it is a restriction on what they know or what they've been doing. And when you think about what's actually stopping you from progressing your business and progressing what you have going on, there's some underlying things to break down first. I'd say the number one thing that we want to touch on is the belief you have in yourself. If you don't believe that you're worth more, if you don't believe that you have the capacity to do more, you never will. You actually, you'll expand to the limits of your beliefs. So if you have giant dreams, a lot of vision, a lot of aspirations, you'll expand those eventually, especially if you do a lot of actions behind those. But if you don't, that's going to limit you. So this is the first thing we're going to do is mindset. Let's master that and what that looks like. So let's go a little more nitty gritty, because I just said that and you're like, okay, well, I don't know how to believe myself more. It's just not built in me. Here's what you want to do. A, watch your language. Language is important. Language changes everything. Language is power. That's something to go. And if you want to get a little more biblical with it, in the beginning, he said, in the beginning was the word and the word was God. Word is language. Let's just say that. That is power in itself. So make sure you guys do not forget that when you're thinking of saying things. So if you ever say, I can't, stop. Redo, say I can. If you ever say I won't, say stop. Maybe not right now. Or say I am doing better. Instead of saying I'm having a really not rough day, saying I'm having the opportunity to experience patience. Just think about that. How can you reframe your struggles, reframe the things in your life to be a more positive outlook, to then allow yourself to expand to these bigger and grander ideas? Also, I want you to think that there's nothing that's too good for you, or there's something that's too bad for you. There's, you're not bigger than taking out trash, and you're not, so small that you can't make $1 billion. Like, both of those can be true in the same sentence, and you have the capacity to do so. It's something that I've worked on with myself, is that, I a lot of time didn't think I was able to do better things. I had the capacity to do that. And when I started believing myself, when I started getting that encouragement, things started coming my way. I'd say another thing too, you put out, or you get back what you put out. So if you put out a lot of negativity, criticism, small thinking, things that are going to limit you as a person, you will get that back. You'll get back criticism, negativity, and small thinking. So watch what you're putting out, watch what you're saying, and those two things in themselves are just going to help you make more money. Now let's get a little more logistical. Let's get more nitty gritty with what this process is going to look like. So everything in life is inputs and outputs. That's it. It's just ones and zeros on a programming board, technically. So if I put in a lot of energy into something, it's going to grow. Well, no dip. If I put in a lot of energy into my relationships, they're going to get better. If I put in a lot of energy into, fixing my car, I'm going to have a really well-running car. I'm not going to have a lot of issues. Now, if I never care about it, or if I never care about this other thing, are they going to shrink? Of course. Same thing as a plant. If you never water a plant, it's going to die eventually. So what are you watering in your life right now? Are you watering building $1 million business? Are you watering that? And watering isn't thinking. Watering isn't just being like, oh, it's going to be so cool. Watering is doing. And this is what doing looks like. Doing looks like, I love Alex Hormozi's rule of 100. Doing 100 reach outs a day. Doing $100 in ad spend a day, doing 100 minutes of making content per day. Now, one thing that I'm personally doing right now, if you're from my social media channel, I'm posting 30 times a day, every day for the next 30 days. That's over 900 pieces of content. And that's on one platform. That's not 900 flat. It's 180 pieces of content a day, actually, times I think 4 or 5 platforms. I think it came out to 5,000 pieces of content, or 6 different platforms. I don't know. But it's 5,000 pieces of content over the next 30 days. That is crazy. Now, that's something compared to what Alex Hormozi is doing. I think Alex Hormozi put out 45,000 pieces of content in a month. Now, but he's doing more. It makes sense because he's doing the volume to get the results he's getting. Sharon shared a story. He made an app called Reel, or had a website called Reel. They went from, I think it was 3 million to or maybe it was 2 billion to 3 billion, whatever. But basically he 3x'd the company in 5 months. And Alex was like, dude, how did you do this? How? And he said that he did 264 events last year. Every single real estate stage, it was a real estate company. He got on a stage and just sold the entire time and provided free value, but he did the volume. I mean, I don't know the last time. That's doing, I think Russell Brunson also brings up another point where he does, do a webinar a week for 52 weeks and you'll never worry about money again. after knowing this 30 for 30 deal, I think I'm going to do the webinar thing because it sounds fun. It sounds like another challenge. And, I love proving to myself that it really just is a numbers game and I'm not doing enough. And even with my business, the more content that I put out, the more business I see come in to my podcast studios, my agency, the co-working space that we're doing. It's just so intertwined with each other that it's so undeniable. Another quote that I like is that do so much volume that it's undeniable that you don't succeed. Do so much that it's undeniable that your dreams don't come true. That applies to fitness. I mean, there's so many things that these rules already apply to, working out, like work out every day, you'll be in shape. And that people are like, oh, why doesn't this apply to business? I've never thought about it like this. And if we apply the basic rules of, life and nature and put it into business, they kind of just play out a little bit. They kind of just end up funding themselves. Now, we've explained on more abstract concepts recently. Let's get really, really nitty gritty now with okay, let's talk about making money. A lot of making money is just arbitrage. So here's how all businesses are. I pay a guy $15 an hour. My product's $100. With my cost, I make $50. That's it. I'm not doing the work. But what I did is I set up the systems, I set up the playbook, I set up the delivery method. I did the work to build that out. That is why I have a valuable product now. Could someone else do it? Yeah, it's called franchise models. That's why franchises work. But it's really reliant on you doing the front end work to have the back end success. So with your business now, and we're thinking about what front end work could I be doing? Or if you don't have a business now, what front end product could I build that could provide value to somebody? So I do a lot with social media management and content creation. I've built systems in place that allow me to still profit and provide a good product. But I did a lot of work building the teams, finding the people, getting the systems, getting the delivery methods. And I'm still doing the work. Actually, most of my work today is building that and making that a better system for the clients. And that's how we make money. That's how we profit. So you need to know that arbitrage of I have someone working, I have the product that I sell. I know my value is that I built the system in which the people work in the delivery method, if it's cost effective or whatever it is. And once you know that, then you can go out and sell it. It could be, that's why Uber is a thing. Uber was allowing you to be like, okay, I could have a car payment, I could have all the issues and I could deal with all these things, but I can't work when I'm driving. I can't do those other things. What if I just had someone else drive for me, actually? And then I paid them a certain cut and then I make, 10, 20% on the app. The volume made all the profit, but that was the arbitrage. The drivers don't make that much. Uber makes a lot because Uber built out the app. If the drivers built out the app, they'd make more money. So it's the builder, the creator behind a lot of it that ends up getting the most result, the most gain from the situation. But the building and creating is very, very hard and stressful. That gets a lot of the pain. So it's almost on another side, if you want to think about it. How much pain are you willing to give up? Because the more pain you give, the more you'll actually get in the long run. If you can endure a lot of pain, if you can go through a lot of pain, you can endure a lot of reward and get a lot of reward. So I hope this video is helpful. These are just some tools I like to use in my back pocket of thinking, building a business, doing the things I like to do. Now, if you're curious about following my journey, I'm still doing the 30 for 30 right now. This video will definitely be out before October is over. And I'm excited for the results. And those results are going to be an entire YouTube video. I'm going to do a whole breakdown of everything, the entire process. And it's going to be posted for free. And I'm going to allow you guys to see the framework that I used and the results that were driven. And I'm going to give that away for free too. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you guys back again.